Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Pete Saunders, here. Vicky Gajrowski,
Present.
Miles Fettinger,
Present.
Drew Buchanan.
Here.
Julie West.
Here.
Jerry Jackson, I'm here. Got 5 here. Has everyone had a chance look at the minutes from July 8th? Anyone got comments?
No, they look complete. I'll make a motion to.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes from the July 8th meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we approve the minutes. Item 5 on the agenda, zone map change number 2502, petition to rezone from R1B Single Family Residential District to the R1D Single Family Residential District and the R2B Townhouse Residential District. Petitioner is Dunlin Group. Is there someone here who wants to do a presentation? Name and address, please.
Yes, John Kovchuk, Beechwood Lakes LLC, 3330 Grand Ridge Drive, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thanks for having us here today. See some familiar faces, which is great. So in essence, let me provide some handouts, if I may, real quick. So you don't look at me like a deer in headlights.
Thank you.
All right. Well, a little bit about us. We're a developer. We are already building a community here in LaPorte called Hunter Woods, which has gone pretty smoothly, I think, overall. We're very excited to keep reinvesting in LaPorte and offering a variety of product types to suit all the growth that has been coming to the area and will continue to come to the area. As it relates to our concept plan, which you have in front of you, as the petition states, we'd like to rezone the tract to both single-family residential and townhome. This would accommodate a variety of product types, including on the single-family side of both front-loaded and rear-loaded plans, and then on the townhome side would accommodate mostly 5-unit townhome buildings. So we're very excited about the project. I will like to say that, we have a wealth of experience with our entire development team. Obviously building here in LaPorte, but also in communities in the state of Michigan, and also some projects in Illinois, and also on golf course communities. So we've built 97 standalone condos and 44 duplex condos within the Preserve and Presswick at the Boulder Creek Golf Course in northeast Grand Rapids, Michigan. Additionally, we've built 42 standalone condos at the Retreat at the Grand Haven Golf Club, which is now called the American Dunes Golf Club in Grand Haven, Michigan. And we just completed a home, and we're building 3 more homes at Forest Dunes Golf Club in Roscommon, Michigan, which is one of the top golf courses in Michigan and top 25 public golf course in the United States. We're also starting construction on 3 homes at Treetops Resort in Gaylord, Michigan, which is a year-round resort that has 5 golf courses, skiing, spa, and thousands of acres. So I think that, hopefully you guys view us as kind of a experienced party and, putting a lot of thought into everything we do and a history of execution. So I'm happy to go into any questions, but as you'll see in your handout, you have the different zoning areas labeled. And, obviously this is just a zoning change petition. It's just the start of a wouldn't say very long, but, lengthy process. So, as we delve into more final construction drawings, this plan will, be refined as we did on our other project here, but hopefully this gives you, a good taste of kind of our concept plan, and on the second page, you'll see kind of an aerial photo. So we're very excited to keep bringing investment into the city and offering valuable product at a in high-quality construction. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions, and then our engineer is here as well if there's any specific engineering questions. But thank you again for having us here.
Any questions from the board members?
I actually have a question here. This water feature, it actually might be more for you. How is this controlled? Is this a floodplain in any way? I mean, if we have a torrential downpour, is there any risk to these units?
They're up high enough that they are well above that, the water features. The water features have an overflow into an existing 60-inch storm sewer. They have a controlled. I've not seen high levels in those. In fact, the former owner there had a pump to bring them up because they would occasionally go get low. So I don't anticipate there'll be a problem with stormwater.
Yeah, that would be my only concern, so if that's not an issue, then.
Yeah, we did extensive topographic research and surveying with our engineer, who also has an in-house surveying team. So we make sure that like you said, that it all lines up, that there's no flood risk, that the units are up high enough.
My only other question would be for the people who own the property on Monroe. What kind of separation do you plan to have from the five-unit ends to the back of their property?
So I don't know the exact buffer. We can look into that, but it's well within the front and side yard setbacks. I don't know, Charlie, if you can speak to that more, but.
What we're trying to do is.
Could you approach the? Name and address if you would.
Charles Ray with Dillon Group, 2103, that's my home address, 1498 Pope Court, that's Chesterton, Indiana. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to make this as rustic as possible and still have the homes. So there's a lot of trees on the property now. If you look at the aerial photo, you'll see there's trees all over it. We're trying to save all the trees on the perimeter. We're trying to save all the trees within it to have walking paths and things like that. So on that parcel over there, we're going to try to, as we refine this, we're going to try to make sure we leave the trees over on that side so that there'll be a buffer. I mean, a natural buffer, not anything that you'd plant a couple sticks and say, oh, this'll in 20 years be good.
Right.
We're trying to keep the mature trees there.
That would be good. Thank you very much.
Other questions? Thank you. I'm not sure who's going to do the staff report.
I'll take that.
Okay.
So item number 5, zone map change 25-02 petition is to rezone from the R1B Single Family Residential District to the R1D Single Family Residential District and the R2B Townhouse Residential District. This property, as you can see on the map above there, is outlined in red. It's about 26 acres in size. Just showing you the overall layout there, aerial photo. 2 existing houses on the property as it is today. Just skipping forward to this is the current zoning map. As you can see, the light yellow color is the current zoning of R1B Single Family Residential District. The salmon colored red is B1 neighborhood commercial, and then the yellow color, just normal yellow, is R1C single family residential in the area, just to give you a perspective there, just of the site surroundings and all of that. So this is the petitioner's map that they provided, the proposed zoning. As you can see, the R2B, which is on the north side, and then the R1D, as you can see is indicated on the map there, just kind of going over that. So the petitioner proposes to rezone this one parcel to accommodate the two zoning districts as displayed on the map above and as legally described in the notice that has been provided. The zoning ordinance allows rezoning following public hearing, plan commission review and recommendation, and then adoption later on by the city common council. Just to give a little background, site review is not required for zone map change applications. Section 27.12 of 2017 revised joint zoning ordinance states that the plan commission shall be guided by and give consideration to the general policy and pattern of development set out in the countywide land development plan. This proposed rezoning would allow additional residential development where it is possible to extend public utilities that is most efficient use of land and minimizing the cost of public services. Staff finds that the proposed rezone from the R1B single-family residential district to the R1D and R2B districts is appropriate for the surrounding area of mixed commercial and low-density residential with the appropriate transitions between neighboring uses, and is generally compatible with the LaPorte County-wide land development plan, strategic goals and objectives. The plan encourages the expansion of residential uses in planned urban expansion areas because of proximity to major highways and public utility services. So with that, staff does recommend approval of the rezone request 25-02 to rezone from the R1B single-family residential district to the R1D and R2B districts as described in the attached legal description for the parcel of land. And I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions from the Plan Commission members?
And I'll add,
You have a comment?
I do, if I may. Nick Minnick, city engineer. I believe it was over 5 years ago that we were given a very, very generous donation of this property by the Luck family. And I know we sat down with the city team. It's on. Yeah. Sorry. Better? Okay. We sat down with our city team and kind of worked on what we saw as the potential for this property. And fast forward 5 years, the city never took on rezoning at that point because we didn't have a developer ready to move forward, and we didn't know exactly what it would end up looking like. And I think it's very nice. It ended up really following what we had anticipated, which is some additional density, which allows for really preservation of some of the property, and also the density is kind of needed for the infrastructure costs associated with development these days. So the R2 is something that we'd anticipated and we're looking forward to. So I think it's just very encouraging that it does take some time, but you know, over the past 5 years, we've been able to find a developer that kind of shares the vision of the city to provide some quality housing that is, you know, close to one of our great assets, which is Beechwood Golf Course, and to work to do it as appropriately as possible. So.
Thank you, Nick. Any questions from the Plan Commission members? I'll open the meeting up for public comment. Anyone have public comment?
Good evening. My name is Dale Nouse. My home address is 106 David Court here in LaPorte. My business address is 2900 Monroe Street. I do have a handout for my things I'm going to cover with you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dale, what did you say your last name was?
KNO, USC.
Okay, thank you.
That's right up here.
Oh, it's up there. Thank you.
I'm looking on the map. What was your address again?
My
The
home
business.
address, the business is 2900 Monroe Street, Cutler Funeral Home.
Gotcha.
I want to thank the members of the Plan Commission tonight to let us speak. My comments will be brief. The funeral home has served the community for 127 years, and I'm here tonight with one primary concern, the proposed rezoning of 4.9 of these acres from R1B to R2B for the townhousing. To give some context, the back of these proposed townhouses would directly border a number of businesses on Monroe Street. I want to focus on particularly 3 businesses on Monroe. First of all, the funeral home that's been located there since 1994. The facility next door, which was originally designed as a dialysis center and today serves our community and children as the Lighthouse Autism Center. And the newly built Monroe Street Dollar General. Both the funeral home and the Autism Center were intentionally designed to take advantage of the beautiful urban forest that lies behind them. The forest is not just trees, it has always been a source of comfort, peace, and healing. At the funeral home, our main intention was our entrance to face the forest, and the building itself shields families from the road noise so they can experience the sights and sounds of this natural habitat in a very difficult time in their life as they go through grief. The dialysis center, now the Lighthouse Autism Center, share that same benefit. Their beautiful garden views and glass-back design were meant to bring calm and beauty to those they serve. We absolutely support the need for new housing in LaPorte and the goal of attracting new families to our community. But we respectfully ask that the placement of the proposed townhouses be reevaluated. The forest portion of this site may be better suited for a few single-family homes that would preserve the integrity of this forest and the habitat that it provides, rather than the high-density development that removes it altogether. There are also practical concerns. Future townhouse residents may find the 24/7 parking lot lights from these 3 particular businesses disruptive. And more importantly, the peaceful setting that grieving families have relied upon for over 3 decades would be permanently altered. Outside these immediate concerns, there are questions about the infrastructure. Will taxpayer money be used to subsidize the developer's cost for roads, sewers, and sidewalks, when normally these are the responsibility of the developer? Has the City Tree Commission had the opportunity to assess this urban forest as they are tasked with protecting and improving these natural assets for the benefits of all the residents? I want to thank each of you for what you do for LaPorte and making it the wonderful community it is. My hope is that this proposal can be adjusted in a way that balances the need for housing with the preservation of the natural setting that serves families, children, and our community so well. I want to thank you for the time tonight.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
My name is Stephen Thate. I'm a professional land surveyor. I live at 3106 Monroe Street in LaPorte. I just want to voice my concern about the zoning. The current zoning is R1B, which is 10,000 square foot lots, 4.4 lots per acre. And they want to take it to R1D, which is 5,000 square foot, 8.7 lots per acre, which is double. And then the townhomes would be 3,120 square feet per lot, 14 units per acre, which is over triple. And they want to put the townhomes in the forest. Now, we have a tree commission, and then on your website, they want to ensure that the urban forest remains intact and is improved over time. And I think putting the townhomes in this area would totally wipe out that woods. And I don't know if any of you walked through there and seen it or had the tree commission look at it, but I think this is not the place to put houses. I'm supporting houses in that area, but just a few houses scattered in there to meet the trees. The back of the area along the south end where the lakes are, that used to be all swamp in there. And the Bernanke's dug those lakes out and they dipped them out and put the spoils to make the land around it. And I don't know if soil borings have been done to see what the soil is like, but I don't know if that would support those homes, being, there's a few good areas in there to build homes. I want to know how many trees would be taken out of there, especially in the northern part where it's densely wooded. And I wanted to see if there was going to be sidewalks in there. It looked like on the plat that there wasn't any sidewalks drawn in there. And are the streets going to be public or private? Also, there's some dead-end streets shown on there. That plat doesn't show it. There's 3 dead-end streets in there that do not have cul-de-sacs, and they do not meet the adjoining property. And that's part of the subdivision ordinance that has to be done. They should be extended to the boundaries and then have cul-de-sacs on there. And as far as I've heard that the city is going to front some of the money for the streets, the sewer, and the water, which is very expensive. And in the subdivision ordinances of the city of LaPorte, it states the subdivider shall design and install these things. And if the city is gonna pay for that with tax dollars, the money they get for selling it's gonna be totally wiped out. It'll be a zero. The city won't benefit at all. We'll just be losing a forest. So those are my concerns. And I'd like to know if the board has walked through those woods and see how beautiful they are. Huge beech trees that have been there for 100 years, I bet, or more. My wife's family owned that whole farm in there, so we're real familiar with the area. They've owned it since 1934. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Other comments from the public?
Good evening to the Plan Commission. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. Get to stand in front of you all and some of you on the council very often, and over the last couple of years in particular, we've had the opportunity to discuss these residential type projects at length. And, I feel for some of you that it's always a discussion that occurs. Plan Commission obviously is going to make a recommendation. The City Council, and I'll look at you two, are going to ultimately decide if this goes forward or not. What I'm going to say next, I do not mean disrespect to any of the thoughts that were shared previously. I think this is an important part of the process where we're able as a city to process others' ideas and input and ultimately come up with the best plan possible to move forward. That said, I would be lying if I said you don't kind of expect this, right? Whenever I'm here, whenever we've have new residential projects like this coming before you, this is generally the feedback that comes up. I know you all hear it often that we need more housing in LaPorte. I hear that every day. We hear it in these discussions. I think at least one of the individuals ahead of me shared that sentiment. With that always comes challenges, right? These projects are always going to impact properties in some way. They're going to change the city in some way, and there's going to be the parcel will be used differently than it was previously. We acknowledge that up front. I'd like to credit John Kovchek and his entire team. City Engineer Minnick mentioned it in his comments, but it's been a long time coming, this project. We have worked hand in hand with the developer to come up with an infrastructure plan that makes sense and is feasible, both financially and from an access standpoint. So what you see in front of you in terms of the infrastructure is not something that was just developed overnight with no thought put into it. There's a lot that goes into that. Probably the biggest challenge to this is figuring out how you make these projects financially feasible. Both people mentioned, questions about how the development agreement or how this project has come together. Our council people will remember, because it wasn't long ago, we just passed the development agreement, which guides the financial arrangement on this particular project. That's not necessary. I won't take the Plan Commission's time in going through that again, but the idea that development just occurs and it's the developer's responsibility to shoulder all of that, I would tell you in my professional experience, and I think if you would poll any of our other individuals who work in this business, they will tell you that is not the case oftentimes. There are different communities with different advantages and challenges. LaPorte has historically struggled to attract this type of development. I think we can acknowledge that up front as a weakness of ours when we look at 80% of our housing stock was built before 1980, right? That tells a story in its own right. And so in those instances, we have to get creative and figure out ways that the city can induce or encourage that type of development if we want to see additional housing development as we move forward, which is exactly what has occurred in this project. So I would encourage you as you look at this. I know John Kovchek, I'm not speaking for him, but I think I can say that undoubtedly he will meet with those neighboring property owners and try and address those concerns, whether that's with the landscaping that can help provide that buffer, whether there are lighting issues, or how the infrastructure interplays with those parcels. I'm quite sure he's willing to do that. He's done that on previous projects, so I would fully expect it in this instance. But I'll just encourage you as you consider this to remember that I'm not slighting others' opinions on things, but these are the same challenges that exist on every single project. And if we were to take this stance, we would never see any development, right? Because it's always has some impact to other properties, and it does involve a different use of properties than historically had been done. Appreciate the opportunity to share a few thoughts.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Hello, Brandon Williams, 805 West 200 North. This starts, I'm right across the street from where the Hunter's Woods is going in. And they say it's been a smooth process all along and everything like that. But since day one, when they came through and started tearing the trees out, it's been nothing but chaos for us surrounding residents.
Are you speaking about the development on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now, painting a picture, they talk about we're gonna leave some trees, we're gonna make it look nice, it's gonna blend in, it's gonna do all that. But take a drive down Park, right? That was 30 acres of trees not long ago, and now it's not, right? That's where townhouses, single-family residential homes are going in, but they're not selling like hotcakes, right? I know developments take a little while, the process takes a little while, but that land, as soon as they started coming in, wiping it out, they didn't care about the residents. Right, we had a wood pile in front of our house within 50 feet, blowing wood chips for the entire time. They didn't care. They didn't move it. They said I couldn't. You have 30 acres that you're clearing, but you don't care. Right, so keep that in mind. So right now, this is an untouched area that's nothing but woods. We talk about grieving. The community can go there, park, stuff like that. But to tear it all out to make houses for what? Right now, $350,000 for a townhouse or $370,000 for a single-family residential home, they're not selling, especially right now in this area. We've got to get something that's more attainable, more affordable for our residents, not something that we're trying to bring in, right? They're not chomping at the bit to come to LaPorte, right? We need more industry. Right now, we need to go ahead and help our residents that are here, and that's not with debt. That's not with new sewers, new this, new hopes, new dreams, all of that. Please keep that in mind. Before we make a decision, take a drive down Severs. Look at that development. Just picture what it was a year and a half ago. It was trees, wiped out. Right now, weeds growing everywhere. Everything that's done as far as getting trash picked up, residents had to make phone calls. There wasn't a dumpster plan in place for them over there until we had to pick it up out of our yard. Until we got the developers' phone numbers and said, hey, what are we gonna do? And the questions they asked, well, what do you want us to do? What do you need from us? Right, so please keep that in mind right now. Then to have two big projects going on in our town, I don't think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Good evening, commissioners and council members. My name is Roger Bernanke. I live at 1473 Boyd Boulevard, just south of the property in question. You can probably see my pond adjacent to the development just south, one of the larger ponds. Right there, the south one, that's correct. That's the property there. And I own property on the other side of the golf course too. I'd like to start by mentioning the uniqueness of the property that's being talked about here. Now, I don't know how many properties, at least within the city of LaPorte, have three ponds. It also is adjacent to Beechwood Golf Course, one of the best golf courses, public golf courses in the state of Indiana. And finally, the total property is 53 acres plus or minus, which you are proposing to develop approximately 32 acres of the parcel. And it's my understanding that the Beechwood Golf Course is going to retain the remaining 21 acres or so of the property for development of 3 additional golf course holes that would take the place, apparently, of the first 3 holes that enters on the front end of the golf course that usually is flooded with water every time it rains. And over here, that ground around the pond is fairly high, so they appreciate getting that property. That's what they told me. They're talking to me about some additional property one way or the other, which I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. Now, also, this property is very densely populated with trees. I mean, mature trees. I don't know of any other places in town that have this sort of uniqueness property, other than maybe mine. I don't know for sure. But mine is nowhere near as dense populated with trees as this area here. I mean, and also the flora and fauna is unbelievable out here. You got ducks, geese, turtles, fox. I even see cranes out here. I mean, there's exotic flowers and plants, wild plants, and all the animal life, and I think most of it, a lot of it, I see every day going into the woods and coming out. And, they use that woods, I guess, maybe as a resting place, and they come onto my property and go back there in the cornfields. It's just a beautiful sight to see. I still believe it's practically one kind of piece of property located in the city. And
You're kind of running out of time. Can you?
I'm very concerned about that. I believe to retain its uniqueness for single-family homes, the lots on the average, I think, are not as large as they should be, square footage-wise, to accommodate substantial upscale homes as envisioned, I believe, by the city of LaPorte. Well, that's what I heard on their online, that they wanted substantial upscale homes. And I'm questioning about that. I don't know for sure.
Sir, your time is up. Thank you for your comments.
Roger. What? Time's up. Time's up already?
Thank you.
Okay, well.
Thank you.
Okay.
We need an opportunity for the next speaker. Someone else over here wanted to talk.
Gerald Zingmont, 1270 Boyd Boulevard, directly across from the short 550-foot adjacent on Boyd Boulevard there. And I know that they have said this is a work in progress and that the final drawings aren't made yet. But I want somebody to take consideration the property owners that have been across the street for 30 or more years. And that is, okay, there are only 2 homes now with approximately, give or take, 150-foot frontage on both, okay? What they're proposing to do is put 7 homes with frontages currently on their map, if I've done my calculation correctly, of about 50 foot. So there's 4 of them about 50 foot, my calculations, a couple of 60 footers, and one almost 120 foot, the corner one. Well, that is going to do drastic to our property value. You can't put a home of our quality from across the street in a 50-foot frontage lot. There is no way. And I'm also concerned is, if you'll look at the map, they have drawn it so that the entrance to those homes would be from the inside cul-de-sac. So the back of those homes are going to face Boyd Boulevard. That doesn't say they're going to or they have to, but that's the way they've drawn it. If you look at the configuration there. So I'm also concerned about that. So I'd like you to take that into consideration with the property owners that are across the street that have been there for more than 30 years, and that we built there because of the woods. We built there because of the lakes. And that is going to drastically reduce our property value. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Joe Fritzen, I'm at 1115 Boyd Boulevard. My house sits right next to the northern corner of where this is proposed. I'm concerned with the property line there. There currently is an access road going back to the two houses that are back there. Based on this drawing, they're going to build right over that, which puts that property within 3 to 4 feet of mine and my daughter's bedroom. We moved here in 2021, and the biggest draw was this wooded property back there. My kids enjoy seeing the deer, as Mr. Bernacchi mentioned, the birds, and I just hate to see it all go. I'm not opposed to this development completely, but I just wish there was a better way to design this out. I can't see the way this is laid out, keeping any of those trees the way they are, like Mr. Williams mentioned. If you go on Severs, it's just, it upsets me looking at that, and I don't want that to become my next door neighbor. So I just wanted to express my concerns. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? I'll close the public hearing then. Any comments, questions from the board members? All right. I guess we're ready to take action on the issue. Again,
Could we hear from the developer again if he has any more
Absolutely.
comments, or
Great.
if you'd like to, or?
I was going to say that we've heard what everybody said tonight, and I just want you to know that this is a concept right now. I mean, it's what we would like. You have to also remember that it's $600 a foot for road, infrastructure, and everything else. So when you start looking at those numbers, if you ever want development, you're going to have either high density or you're going to be subsidized by other people or whatever. But I think that based on the comments that we've had tonight, that I've logged in here, that I think we can pull some things back and do some things to make sure that there's woods all around that haven't been taken down. And I know the one gentleman that just spoke, we can pull this back and we can change the lots. There's some things we can do. And I have to say that I live on a lot with all kinds of mature trees too, and I would be sad if somebody took them down. So we will try to do the best we can to keep those trees. But we still have to build houses, so.
Yeah, I would just echo off the back of that. I mean, this is a zoning change. It's not a final plat or even a preliminary
it's
plat approval. So we can definitely, I think we like to collaborate with the community and, ensure that it's a livable space. I mean, at the end of the day, it serves our best interest too, to have a community that people enjoy and want to be living next to and in. I don't think any of the comments were, out of question. Again, we can make some tweaks. But at the end of the day, the question is, does the city want development, right? So, so far, it's been a great opportunity to work with the city on our other developments. You know, on our current one, you know, there was a lot of moving pieces, but I would encourage everyone to drive by there today. I was just out there an hour ago, and the site looks beautiful. So, you know, weather is always a challenge. You know, it's not easy to cope with, you know, 6 to 10 inches of rain at once, and, you know, freezing. You know, the last year's weather has been crazy. But I would encourage everyone to check out our Hunter Woods right now. I think the site looks beautiful, and always open to feedback. So, thank you again for your partnership and your consideration.
And I would add too, if it's okay, that this is one group that this site and the site on Park Street are very different sites. The topography is different. There's a lot of variation between what they're doing there and what this is intended. We did meet with other developers, talked to other developers, and a lot of them, it was a non-starter to retain the character and the feel of the property. And just my experience with John Kovacek and his group regarding this property has been, it's their intention to do that. And this is, we're not looking at the final subdivision, we're looking at a zoning change now, and we'll continue to work with them to try and make sure we preserve as much of the natural landscape as we can. Some of that can be done through engineering with their engineers. Some of that can be done just by, you know, making sure that we keep things in certain places. I did hear a couple people mention our tree commission. We actually don't have a tree commission anymore. We have a sustainability commission, and we do have a contracted arborist, and we can definitely have his services provided to kind of take a look at some things and make sure that we're doing our best to conserve and preserve wherever and whenever possible.
You need to update your website then, that you don't have a
Yep.
tree commission.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion among the Plan Commission members?
Just one question, I live in Phil in the lake.
Should I stop?
I don't think there's any plans.
No.
I think what we're deciding today is not the plan. That's what we have to keep our focus on. We're deciding, sir.
Sir, we've closed public hearing. We've closed public hearing, sorry.
So the first step, I've seen this, since this property was donated to the city, I've been around and hearing the process for it. As it's been alluded to, there were several iterations of potentials, that there were, you know, you have your wish list that you start with and see what happens. The infrastructure costs had gotten so high, and this really has nothing to do with the Plan Commission's decision. It's just a little background that I've seen because I live there and I followed the process. There's been no interest or no ability to fund the infrastructure costs with a few houses on the property. It's just not, it wasn't feasible. So this plan has come, you know, more to fruition. There was a comment about, you know, the golf course building 3 holes. The mayor wanted his personal 3 holes there, so nobody was, so he could practice and nobody could bother him. But that's not part of this plan. It's probably not going to happen. But as a Plan Commission, we're tasked with what was the intended use for this property? What is the need for the city? The property was donated with the understanding that it was likely going to be developed in some iteration, and here we are 5 years later. Again, I appreciate all of the comments regarding the forest, and but the decision is for the Plan Commission is it's the zoning map change, it's not the plan. So that's kind of what I have to, a developer will not go forward with further costs of drawing and plans and stuff if the zoning won't be changed. It doesn't make sense. So this is the first step. It seems to me that the housing need is what we hear from all levels. This provides for different levels of housing, which is what we hear we need. We need all levels of housing. I was concerned about the density, so after doing some research and learning about the infrastructure costs, this type of plan is being put in, as the developer mentioned, in many other areas around golf courses and so on, because, and they are being sold because that is how you fund the utilities, not from the city, from the developer. So you have to have that type of density and mixed use. So those are my comments and thoughts. I appreciate everybody's comments here tonight. So,
Thank you. Other comments from the members? Okay, our role here is to recommend positively or negatively to the Common Council just the zoning, as you mentioned, where we're not, this is the conceptual drawing for the development. Any other comments on that? Are we ready? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to favorably recommend the zone map change.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll take the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion pass. Thank you. All right, the next item is a petition for final plat 25-02 for Hunter Woods subdivision phase 2. Is there anyone here from Dunlin or from the developer to speak on the final plat?
Could we take just a minute for the?
Sure. All right, we're ready to move on to the next item, item 6 on the agenda. Final plat petition for the Hunter Woods subdivision phase 2. Do we have anyone here to speak on that subject? Can we have them close the door?
Yes, hello. John Kopchak, again, Park Street Community LLC, 3330 Grand Ridge Drive, Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are looking for the final plat approval for the second phase of our subdivision. Now that the, all the infrastructure work is done, and we did receive the final plat approval for the first phase. We were just waiting for, the interior road, Deer Trail Lane to get completed and some other finishing touches. Happy to answer any questions, but, hopefully you see the subdivision has been coming along smoothly overall, and we've worked hand in hand with the city to provide quality housing. So we encourage anyone interested to tour our units, and we're always around, always on site, and happy to answer any questions from myself or my engineer. Thank you again.
Thank you. Do you have a presentation from the staff?
Yeah, so item number 6, final plat 25-02 petition for the Hunter Woods subdivision phase 2. As you can see, the property is outlined in red. This is just for the interior portion of the subdivision. This 19 lot subdivision. This is a final plat, as you can see there. This is turned sideways. Tried to orient the best way I could to show the lots on the page. I did go out and take some photos of the improvements that have been made that are required to be made as a part of the subdivision process. And this is the final step in achieving that. Just showing the road that has been put in as part of the process. Just a few photos there. This proposed subdivision is proposed 19 lots on the interior portion. As you can see, the road there. Don't have it on the map. But Chapter 82, Article 5 subdivisions of the City of LaPorte Municipal Code allows the subdivider to present a final plat to the Plan Commission and to the Board of Public Works and Safety. The rules and regulation contained in this article are adopted to secure and provide for, 1, the property arrangement of streets or highways in relation to existing or planned streets or highways. 2, adequate and convenient open spaces for traffic, utilities, access for firefighting apparatus, recreation, light, and air. And 3, the avoidance of congestion of population and the establishment of standards for the construction of any and all improvements as required in this article. The acreage area is about 9 acres in size and is currently zoned R2B Townhouse Residential District. Currently, this portion, there's no structures on the site. As you can see, the road has been completed. Just kind of giving you a brief synopsis of just the overall layout of conformance to the minimum lot requirements as set forth in the 2017 LaPorte revised joint zoning ordinance for the R2B district. The proposed subdivision conforms to the general objectives of the countywide land development plan is to encourage residential density to more than 3 dwelling units per acre, where it is possible to extend public utilities to provide for a fiscally sound pattern of development. So staff does find that the proposed subdivision conforms to the guidelines set forth in Chapter 82, Article 5 subdivisions of the City of LaPorte Municipal Code and the general policy and pattern of development set out in the countywide land development plan. So staff does recommend approval of final plat 25-02 petition to allow the 19 residential lots within the proposed Hunter Woods subdivision Phase 2. And I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, any questions for David? Comments? Okay, I'll open up the meeting to public comment. Any public comments on the final plat?
Again, my name is Brandon Williams, 805 West 200 North. My question is, how many are we going to build at a time, finish, try to sell, and leave the others halfway completed? If you look at it now, with the townhouses, again, they went up pretty quick, but one got finished and it's almost done. It's not ready yet, but they're almost done. And the one next to it has siding on it, but the inside, it's getting there. The ones next to it, they've got some wrap on it, some shingles, but again, they're just there, right? What's gonna happen now that they're moving on to another phase? How many are we gonna build, let it sit, turn into a nuisance down the road? Because I know there's been a lot of wildlife that lived over there. And I mean, just this year, we've probably had to dispose of 14, 15 raccoons that we haven't had in the past. So how much wildlife is in these houses? You know, when it starts getting cold, homeless, you know, other disturbances that might start happening. You know, because I mean, garage doors left wide open, you see cars driving by slow all the time, taking a peek, taking a gander, tools, ladders, stuff like that. At times, it's been a ghost town for a month. You know, they talk about we've done a great job. Yeah, it looks clean and great now, but 2 weeks ago, they started really kind of get it and tidied up for today, right? To go ahead and tell you, hey, go take a look at it. Right? Yes, it looks good, but look across the street. If you go to try to turn left or right onto Severs off of Park, you're lucky that you don't get hit by a car coming from Fail Road, because you have to pull so far out, you can't see around all the overgrowth. That's now city property, right now that they should be dealing with, but they don't see that. Right now, they just see these townhouses. Right now, they see Phase 2. But again, how many are we gonna have them build and have the hopes that someone's gonna be able to afford a $400,000 home? Those townhouses are, what, $359,000, $369,000? Again, how many do we build and wait for someone to buy? That's all I got, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on the final plat petition? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have any response from the applicant? Any comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, you know, we are you know, it doesn't take 1 month to build a townhome, so we're building them as weather permits and as, you know, as the infrastructure has gone in. In fact, I would like to argue that we have built well ahead of any other developer, the townhomes on the site, because typically people wait for the utilities to be, or like gas and electric to be in, but we wanted to really provide quality housing up front. So, you know, the rest of the units are obviously going to be built. You know, we're not going to start building on a random part of the site until we finish the current units. But, you know, we have a model unit that just got opened. We just had our first open house last weekend. And all the other units are being built in successive order. So it's not like we're going to start a whole bunch of vacant townhomes. We're going to finish the ones that we started first, and they're all being, you know, built. You know, it just takes time. You know, you don't build a townhome in 2 months. So, you know, our model unit is completed. We encourage, again, everyone to stop by and see the finishes. I think you'll be very pleased with them. And yeah, happy to answer any other questions. But I think that if you kind of look at when we started the infrastructure work, which was about a year ago, to have so much stuff done, both vertical and horizontal, at least in my experience, I think it's actually pretty good schedule. So things just don't happen overnight. So thank you.
One question. This phase, you mentioned it, but you don't plan to develop it at all until the others are complete, or?
That's correct. I mean, the part of the reason of this is because there's a lot of, when a customer comes to us, you know, that you build on spec or you build pre-sales. So if somebody comes to us and they want to be in the middle, we'll build for them. So we want to make sure that the options for housing are maximized here. That's why we put that interior road in. You know, and that interior road also serves the single-family homes on the north side of the subdivision. So if somebody comes to us today and they want, you know, smack dab in the middle to have a unit or two, for sure, we'll build it for them. Right now, we're obviously going down Park Street, but we wanted to maintain the optionality for customers that want to live in other parts of the subdivision. That's why we put that interior road in. We're certainly not going to scatter empty units by any means.
On
not even
spec.
close. Yeah, on spec, yeah. We're doing everything in a very methodical order right now.
Other questions from Plan Commission members? Thank you.
And I will add kind of sequence of development. We're seeing more and more that NIPSCO and Power, Gas, they want to come in after the infrastructure's in. So we're seeing more and more that they want the roads in, they want everything in before they'll come in. So what they've experienced is they are now getting gas and electric to the site to serve the buildings and everything. But that does take time. So where the project really started last summer, kind of through the winter and everything, it's just now that they're able to kind of turn a corner because utilities are finally coming to the location as well. And that's pretty common for what we're seeing in development today.
Speaking on timeline, they were chipping ice and snow off the roof and putting the shingles on. And how long ago is that? So, come on, timeline. I mean, we're asking people for water and rinse paintbrushes.
Thank you for your comments. Any other questions, comments from staff and the members? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the final plat for Hunter Woods subdivision phase 2?
So moved.
Second? Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion passed. Is there any, do we have any other old business to cover? No, David? Any new business the Plan Commission members want to bring up, discuss? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we're
Second.
adjourned. Thank you.